What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here. Hope you're enjoying your Friday, and you guys demanded it, so we're going to be talking about it. Is it GameStop? Is it GameStonk? Is this actually the most valuable company in the world? We're going to explore that and a lot more in regards to what's going on. Now, this is an actively developing story. We're going to try and cover it to the best of our abilities in this moment, but I understand we are literally shooting this on Friday the 29th at 12:30. And I'm sure by 12:35, the story will have completely changed because a lot is happening. So some recent updates involve Robinhood. If you guys haven't been paying attention about that, but let's first get into the general story of David and Goliath. That is what's going on with GameStop, Reddit, hedge funds, and Wall Street. There's a lot to cover. Have you guys been paying attention? Let me know in that comment section as well. So in the story, we're going to cover the background related to the GameStop situation. We're going to cover why did GameStop become the battleground? So why did these Redditors choose this stock specifically as well? How did Redditors launch their attack on Wall Street? So this is actually truly a David and Goliath sort of story, and you're definitely going to see the media portraying this, but I also think that it may not work out for David in the end, but we'll cover that at the end. And then how did Wall Street fight back? So what sort of pressure is Wall Street and those hedge fund managers doing in order to try and keep themselves afloat here? And then what are some of the legal concerns on both sides in regards to what's going on? So if somehow you haven't been paying attention to the financial world because you've been too caught up with COVID, well, hey, Reddit's here to give you a nice little distraction. So when the New Year bell rang on January 1st, 2021, GameStop stock was actually valued at $17.25 USD. After it hit a high of $492.02 USD on January 28th, it ignited an all-out class war, some people are saying. But how did we actually get to this point in time? And this is a little bit different than some other class wars we've seen in the past. So GameStop stock has been projected to decline over the next few years. Even before all this ground was made on the 28th, this was the case. This is mostly due to the fact that video game stores are out of fashion. COVID-19 is not really helping that factor either. And a lot of people buy their games online now on platforms like Steam or other services. But again, there's actually a small subset of people that really saw some opportunity here with GameStop as well. And we'll cover that in a moment. So I know there's a lot of heated thoughts and opinions on this. If you guys have been involved in this in any ways, let us know in the comment section. Let us know what price did you get in on GameStop as well, because I'm fascinated. I will not be participating in this crazy ass shit, but it's hilarious to watch from the sideline and just drink out of my mug about it. So let's talk about furthermore, the pandemic again forced a lot of retailers into tough situations, and most people assumed this was going to compound GameStop's troubles. So when companies are slated to lose revenue over the long run, their stocks typically actually plunge. And so due to some savvy internet warriors and one possibly legitimate reason, GameStop now sits at the top of the mountain when it comes to companies that were not getting loved at the start of the year. So the possibly legitimate reason to buy GameStop stock is the company announced that it added 3 new directors to its board on January 11th. One of the new directors, Ryan Cohen, co-founder of Chewy, brought some digital expertise to the company, but this doesn't explain the actual insane evaluation that we're seeing today. So how Redditors actually launched their attack on Wall Street. So if you guys are unfamiliar, Reddit actually has a very popular subreddit called Wall Street Bets. Notice that GameStop had a disproportionate amount of short bets against it. So the Redditors then determined that most, if not all, of these short bets were placed by Wall Street big shots and hedge fund managers. So they organized themselves and bought as much GameStop stock as they could, driving the price through the roof and holding the line by not selling it so that the shorts couldn't cover their position effectively. And by midday on January 28th, that stock did peak at $492 USD. Now, will we see it hit that top again? I would be surprised, but it's been a surprising couple of years, hasn't it? So they bought stock in BlackBerry, Nokia, Macy's, and AMC as well, with the hashtag #SaveAMC going viral. Adding further fuel to this entire fire was Elon Musk. You guys know I'm a huge fanboy of Elon Musk, so I love the fact that he just added one more log to this fire by simply tweeting GameStonk. Among other tweets, which kind of legitimized the movement or even brought more attention to it, particularly from the mainstream. So with short selling losses over $5 billion now, according to S3 Partners, the Wall Street bigwigs knew they either had to close out their positions for huge losses or fight back. A couple of the notable funds which took large losses were Citron Research as well as Melvin Capital. And the manager of Citron, famous short seller Andrew Leff, said his fund took 100% loss on the chin, but he argues GameStop will still lose in the long run. And Melvin Capital ate a significant loss as well, but we didn't find that disclosed. And so two investment platforms, Robinhood and Interactive Brokers, restricted trades on January 28th. So as of yesterday, but again, there's an update since then. Users on the platform were no longer allowed to buy GameStop stocks. They were only allowed to sell. Interesting, which would drive the stock price down. Although this isn't the first time something like this has happened, this might be the first time it has happened to seemingly protect the wealthy. And again, this is some people's opinions. The chairman of Interactive Brokers appeared to misspeak when he said that they restricted trading to protect themselves. He quickly corrected himself to say they restricted trading to protect the public. I always get myself and the public confused too. So tip given to Justin Can, the Citadel reloaded their short bets before telling Robinhood to restrict the GameStop trades. So this is a really interesting development that a few whistleblowers have really brought to the forefront of this developing story. And it's an absolutely developing story. And let me know how you see it developing in that comment section as well. Are you all about Team Reddit? Are you Team Hedge Fund? Are you just, guys, please don't just destroy the market for just trolling's sake. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I'm going to get into some of mine at the very end of this story because I've got some opinions too. Robinhood was a platform that was supposed to democratize investments. In fact, that's literally why it has the name Robinhood. It was supposed to be for the average Joes, as it had no commission fees or trade. It seems very likely, though, right now, they don't seem to be protecting the average Joes, or at least the way they're going about it seems heavy-handed and very protectionist and very just inappropriate, probably, would be one of my frames for it. So from the Redditor's point of view, they are standing in a gray area. What they did does not seem to be illegal-ish, but it definitely is going to be under scrutiny, and I actually fear that there probably will be repercussions. And one of the things that's really frustrating is it's actually very rare. Understand this, guys, if you actually look into it and research it, it's extremely rare for anyone to be held accountable for insider trading or pump and dump schemes. You know, like once or twice a year, they give us one headline and they sacrifice one sacrificial hedge fund manager, but that's it. This shit is fucking rampant. And now the little guys are just starting to dabble with it. And this will actually get regulators' panties in a huge bunch, is my opinion. We will see some massive changes, I personally predict. And I think that's bullshit, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions, and your comments in that comment section. I'll be sure to read them before we wrap up today. So moving on, again, talking about some of these legal concerns, what they did was not to collude to pull off some sort of pump and dump scheme. A pump and dump involves pumping up the value of worthless stock only to sell it to some dummy that they trick into the purchase. This is clearly not really the goal of Wall Street bets, because in order to pull this off, a lot of them had to hold on to their stock. Had they all been willing to take a quick buck, we would have never seen the heights of 490 plus hit. So that won't stop the SEC, though, from looking at their messages and accusing them of market manipulation. If they're accused of market manipulation, there are definitely some other people who should be put on the hot seat as well. So again, my biggest fear here is that we're going to see the little guys get boot stomped, and the big guys are just going to walk away having not learned a lesson from this. And so particularly the hedge fund managers who hold private meetings to determine investment strategies, at least when Redditors do it, they do it publicly, and you can just sub to that forum. So this has led many journalists to call out the SEC and hedge fund managers on Twitter, arguing that the investigation should be targeting them instead. Now, this is something I've talked about for a while, just kind of quietly on my YouTube channel. I didn't want to cause a big fuss about it because I didn't think anyone would listen to me. But I actually think the stock market's a very dangerous investment vehicle for the average investor. And I understand why others disagree with me, but you don't know what's going on in those closed room meetings. And in fact, I think it's naive to have laws that ban insider trading. In fact, I think it would actually be more helpful for the general market to allow insider trading. I know it's a hot topic. I know that it's not a very simple silver bullet solution that I'm making it out to be, but I would love to hear your thoughts, because I personally, I understand this is coming from a CPA who spent time in the public world, right? Worked for a publicly traded pharmaceutical company. We went through multiple acquisitions and mergers. I helped prepare the management and discussion analysis that would come out every quarter, helped with our, 8 and 10 filings, right? Like doing all that stuff. So I'm not just some random YouTuber. I know you guys love to think of me as just a random YouTuber from Canada, but there is a little bit of expertise backing up some of my thoughts too. So anyways, building upon that, as we found out from the debacle in 2008, the wealthy seem to be allowed to rig the system in their favor without consequences, or at least it can often feel like that to us smaller players. So only one banker from the US was sentenced to anything in 2008. And this is something that they highlighted in that the popular like Netflix movie and stuff, The Big Short, right? So even though there were innumerable illegal things happening that led to the world economy crashing, and it's, you know, they document a handful of those things in that movie. There's a lot of things going on. So understand, as of right now, Wall Street Bets has 5.3 million followers, up from 2 million followers earlier this month. The army is growing, and we will see what they do next. Because if the SEC can't stop them, they're actually going to have some real power. And this is going to be a fascinating development. Now, if this actually does go their way, I really hope this gets used for good and we start focusing on some value investing rather than day trading. It is fun to troll shorts, so you guys do you. But I would really love to see value investing and for stocks to return to what they once meant. Do you guys know that back in the day, stocks were actually a fractional ownership stake in a company, and it was really used for companies to be able to raise capital so they could go do good business practices, right? They would go and create value for the general economy and then capture a small percentage of that value. Now, these days, it's really just about trying to get headlines and trying to make a quick buck if you're a trader. I can understand the desire as an individual to want to participate in this. However, I think it really distorts and is toxic for the general market and the general economy because it really incentivizes such short-term thinking that, but that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and let's check it out. It looks like this was a little bit of a hot topic because I see lots of people commenting. And so actually, even before I do that, let me quickly check here and see what is the stock price. So as of this moment, we're at $353 US, and it's $12.43. Yesterday or on the 28th, it closed at 193, and we're back up to 352, right? So that's a huge move. And part of the development is the fact that we didn't even have this in the article because it happened so quickly, but Robinhood has actually stepped back a bit and isn't restricting as much. Again, I'm literally looking at this on my computer screen as we're talking about this. So Global News has an article saying GameStop rallies after Thursday's slump as Robinhood eases trading restrictions. So, just kind of scrolling through here, the website, they got way too much filler in here. So anyways, really curious on your thoughts. Appreciate Antoine, Yuvraj. I apologize. That was brutal. Blake, what's up? Tristan, Amor, appreciate everyone that's sharing their thoughts, their comments. I'm going to check a few here. 2 news holidays, 29. Oh, okay. That's something that I don't want to repeat. And do you think it's going to dip and try to get their 130 contract call expiring cheaper? Yeah, it's a great question. I think that understand at some point in time, presumably the market needs to return to normalcy with this stock. When the timing of that is a very interesting question. For me, I'm not a gambler, so I would stay a country mile away from GameStop and the GameStonk debacle. But it is fascinating to see, and I hope some interesting precedents get set, hopefully for the small guys and hopefully not against them. But certainly time will tell. So again, if you guys have bought GameStop, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and when will you decide to sell? Or are you going to be a hodler like Bitcoin holders? I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, if you would like to see more videos on my YouTube channel like this, all I ask is that you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. If you really want to do me a favor, maybe you're just in a good mood because it's Friday. Sharing is caring when it comes to this. I know it's in one ear, out the other when I ask you to share this on social media. But for the one of you that's going to listen and do this, I really do appreciate you. You're a good person. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.